How's it going, everybody? It is I hope you guys are having a beautiful day, and welcome back to another Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle versus Chris over here into the NU tier. So if you do enjoy these, make sure to hit that like button on the video, and the team I'm using is in the description if you do want to try it out. Made by me when Pangoro dropped down from the RU tier to NU tier, and it's Life Orb with 3 attacks. So I'm thinking Chris is probably going to lead off with like maybe Palm or Savali. It's pretty good as a parting shotter and U-turner. Savali Steel is mostly prominent in the NU tier. So we lead off a Rotom, which does have the Cola Berry. I can take a knockoff. I could take any of those dark type moves for days, and we could throw off a Will-O-Wisp to half Palm's attack, which is awesome. Unless it has Facade, but you can't go for Facade on a Ghost type unless you go for Foresight, which my Hitmontop does have. Hitmontop is not the best defensive switching Pokemon now, since Passimian does have Defiance and Hitmontop does have Intimidate, so you got to be careful of that, especially with Incineroar 2, Intimidate. You got to be careful with Defiant Passimians. But yeah, I just go for Volt Switch as he brought in Houndoom. I bring in Miltank because Miltank should be able to take anything Houndoom wants to go for. I can get my Stealth Rocks up as he just throws off the Z move, and I'm like, okay, what is that? Inferno Overdrive? I guess he doesn't expect me to be Thick Fat, which my Miltank is Thick Fat. I always like to run Thick Fat Miltank because of all the ice types and the fire types that run around in the NU tier. Mega Bomb Snow too. Now Sap Sipper is pretty nice as well, but halving fire and ice coverage is just too good to pass up, to be honest. So I'm just going to throw off some Seismic Tosses just to get some racked up damage on Houndoom, and if I'm low enough, I'll just Milk Drink it up, and hopefully he doesn't flinch me or critical hits me, and I should be good to go, because I want to try and weaken this Houndoom as much as possible. So he makes a nice play going for that Destiny Bond right there, expecting me to go for another Seismic Toss. So I didn't expect Destiny Bond on a Z-move Houndoom, that's for one. Usually they're like on a Choice Scarf Houndoom, so he really caught me off guard right there. And down goes my Miltank to that Houndoom's Destiny Bond. So I'm going to bring in Sceptile now as he brings in Ambipom. I can take anything Ambipom wants to go for since it's burnt, even if it does have the ability Technician, which it looks like it does because that Fake Out did so much damage. I'm just going to go for the Giga Drain because I don't want to waste my Fight EMZ on this Ambipom, plus I don't want to miss Focus Blast, so I might as well just go for the Giga Drain because I can get some HP back. And U-turn does about the same as Fake Out did, so... In comes Braviary, does take Stealth Rock damage, which is nice. I don't knock out Braviary, I think, with Fight EMZ, and also on top of that, I think he might be Scarfed and like Brave Bird me. So I'm going to switch out into my Savali Steel, as he just goes for the U-turn right there. Because I know I can take a Brave Bird with this, and I doubt he would want to click Superpower randomly on a Sceptile, unless he really expected me to go into Savali. So in comes his Savali, I think this is the Ghost Savali, I'm pretty sure. He goes for the Defog, which is nice, as I can get a nice Toxic off on him, putting him on a timer, which is very valuable, since Savali is pretty bulky, and just weakening it is really, really good for maybe my Sceptile in the back to do some work, or maybe even my Pangoro. Because even though he did get rid of the rocks, which sucks for weakening Braviary, maybe Pangoro can break through real quick. As I do, I just want to bring it in on this Savali over here. He could Parting Shot, which would suck, but I'm just going to go for that Swords Dance, and it's still going to boost at least one stage of my attack, because he does lower one stage of my attack. Swords Dance raises it 2, and I'm left with just 1, since, 2 minus 1 is 1. So in comes Weezing, usually a defensive Pokemon in the tier, but luckily we do have Dark Stab coverage, and Weezing is bulky enough to take it, obviously, but luckily he didn't go for a Wisp, which I was really scared of. He goes for a Haze, which isn't the worst decision. I mean, he does get rid of my boost, but I could have Swords Dance up again. And now I'm back to +2. Well, I was at +1, but now I'm at +2, as he actually doesn't even go for like a Pain Split or anything like that. He just goes for a Toxic Spike, so I guess he thought I would not Swords Dance? I don't know. Maybe he just didn't have Will-O-Wisp or Pain Split. Maybe he just had Sludge Bomb, Flamethrower, T-Spikes, and Haze. I don't know, I'm just guessing. But it kind of works out since he brings in Braviary and it lives a Bullet Punch. I was just hoping to maybe knock out Braviary, but at the same time I kind of figured it would live. That's where that extra Stealth Rock chip would have mattered if I had them up, but he defogged them away with Savali. But it's fine. I think at this point of the game, Sceptile should be able to clean up with Fight EMZ because he doesn't have too good switch into Sceptile. Most people don't, since Sceptile has pretty dang good coverage in the tier, fighting grass and ice with Hidden Power Ice. So I just throw off a Giga Drain just to get some HP back. I know he can't really knock me out with Silvally as well, so I'm pretty safe to do that. As he brings in Steelix, which is good because now I can just throw off that Fight EMZ and blow this thing back. Which is awesome because, you know, I don't like missing Focus Blast because sometimes you miss and then you get hit by a Gyro Ball or a Heavy Slam and you're just like, well, crap. I mean, most of the time people would just like hit him with a Leaf Storm and probably KO Steelix. But most Steelix are max special defense, so maybe they could take one if they're healthy enough. But maybe he could go down to a Leaf Storm if it was Life Orb, though. But either way, it's nice for other Pokemon, too, as well, that, you know, just don't appreciate Fight EMZ. Like maybe a Miltank, I don't know. So he goes for the Fake Out, gets some more chip on me with that Toxic, but I am faster, and I can knock him out with the Giga Drain, and I am still out of range from getting knocked out from the poison. Since it's only one T-Spike, it's only 12% of my health each turn. It's not badly poisoned. If you got 2 T-Spikes up, that would be badly poisoned. And gradually weaken my HP over and over. More and more. So last Pokemon is Silvally, and we could just Leaf Storm it, and that is Sceptile cleaning up the late game right there. So Sceptile couldn't have been able to do that, I think, if Weezing was around, but Pangoro broke through it and allowed my Sceptile to do that. And also weakened the Braviary, which was very important as well for Sceptile to win the game, because I think that was a Scarf Braviary, I'm guessing, and that would demolish my Sceptile. So next up, we got versus Angel. Looking at Angel's team, I'm thinking it's going to be Stealth Rock Miltank, maybe a Unburdened Hitmonlee, we'll have to see, maybe Life Orb, maybe Banded, who knows. Ambipom again, very nice, maybe a Life Orb one or maybe a Silk Scarf one. And then Mega Bomb Snow for sure, because that's in the tier and it's pretty dang good. Maybe Swords Dance, maybe just 4 attacks, mixed special attack and physical. Could be a lot of things. Sceptile could be Life Orb or Specs, and then Vikavolt could be Z-Move, Specs, Life Orb, a lot of things as well. So all around pretty good offense on his part. Vikavolt and Hitmonlee are pretty dangerous, but I do have some things to at least switch in on them at least like once or twice. So with that in mind, now let's get right down to the business. He leads off with Miltank. Probably wants to get up his Stealth Rock, so has to lead off with a Rotom. Now Rotom is a nice lead because I can gauge whatever, like if he wanted to lead off with his Hitmonlee and Fake Outs, he can't do that, or Ambipom as well. As you saw in the last game, I can just Will-O-Wisp those guys. But Miltank, I don't really want to stay in because he could Toxic, and I just Volt Switch on out of there. And I go into Pangoro because Pangoro just puts on the immediate pressure that I want. And if he does want to lay up his Rocks, he's going to catch a punch to the face. So he has to choose if he wants to keep his Miltank or Rocks, and he chooses Rocks. So some people might not agree with that, thinking that, you know, choosing Rocks over a Pokemon sometimes is not the most ideal situation. But at the same time, maybe if your team is really weak to Rocks, it's good. I don't think my team is really weak to Rocks, though. So, and plus I can kind of Wrap Spin on a lot of his team, too, with Hitmon top. So in comes Hitmonlee. I don't want to catch a high jump kick to the face, so I'm going to go into Rotom. Could be a nice play for him to go for a knockoff, but I do have Coolwood Berry. But he actually just goes for the Mach Punch, which surprised me. I didn't think he would do that since Hitmonlee is faster than Pangoro, unless he's not running any speed. Or maybe he just thought that I'd be faster, I don't know. Either way, I just go for the Wisp because, you know, nice burn, but he goes into Chili Willy, the potential Mega Bomb Snow. And I'm just going to Volt Switch over here because I could take an Ice Shard since he's burnt, and I could get some more chip on him, might as well, since it's nice to chip away at everything. And I can go into Miltank pretty safely because I know Miltank can take anything Mega Bomb Snow wants to go for, unless he wants to hit me with like a Wood Hammer. Now that could do some damage. But he goes for Hidden Power, so that's good, at least. Doesn't really do that much. The Hail kind of sucks, though, because it negates my Leftovers recovery. That's the kind of downside of battling versus a Mega Bomb Snow. It always has that annoying hail that it just chips away at your team. And it can be very useful for chipping away at a lot of teams. That's why Vanillix was pretty dang powerful in the NU tier. I think now it's banned with those Specs Blizzards and Snow Warning. So yeah, I just get my Rocks up as I can Size and Toss afterwards, as he finally realizes that Energy Ball is the way to weaken my Miltank, because Blizzard does not do anything, because I am Thick Fats. And he tries to Ice Shard me, but we are Thick Fats, and Miltank does not care, and also you're burnt as well. So on top of that, there's 2 ways to lower that Ice Shard's power, and yeah, Miltank just takes nothing from it, and I can just Milk Drink right up and regain that HP. So Miltank just, man, so dang good, I love it. Even though I think that's usage just dropping down to PU, just like Hitmontop as well. I think sooner or later they're going to be PU. So I just go for a Seismic Toss as Hitmonlee comes out. Now I think I just stay in over here because I just want to weaken Hitmonlee as I do it, outspeed it. So I guess that's why he Mach Punched my Pangoro, because even though Miltank is pretty dang fast naturally, I guess he's just not running max speed on his Hitmonlee, so he was just scared Pangoro to outspeed. So he hits me with the Stone Edge. I guess expect me to go into Rotom, but I don't. And I kind of expected that. I thought he would go for like a knockoff as well. And he just hits me with a Mach Punch, so. And knocks himself out with the Life Orb, so that's pretty dope. I bring in my Pangoro because Pangoro doesn't have 2 good switch-ins, as in comes Vikavolt, and I'm pretty much hoping that knockoff can knock this out. But Vikavolt is naturally bulky, and it is Specs, so luckily I got rid of the Specs. But still, it is bulky enough, and it is able to knock out Pangoro, unfortunately. But hey, at least we weakened the Vikavolt for Sceptile to come in. So Pangoro does that pretty well. It kind of weakens the team, and then allows like one of my other Pokemon to just come in and kind of clean up the game. So Sceptile speeds Vikavolt, knocks it out pretty safely, and Ambipom comes out. You already know I'm faster than Ambipom. I know I can live a Fake Out as well, which he does go for, which does a decent amount, but I can live it. He has Life Orb, so whew, powerful. But I can go for the Fighting MZ, not to miss a Focus Blast. Or a Leaf Storm, because Leaf Storm does have a chance to miss as well. And I don't think a Life Orb or Specs Giga Drain can knock out Ambipom, so that's where a Z-move can come in handy. It never misses. Even with your evasiveness going up, it never misses. Pretty sure, unless there's like some kind of like niche scenario. Z-moves never miss. Unless you're like a Will-O-Wisp or like a Hypnosis. Like one of those things, because it's not really a Z-move attack. It's like a Z-move status. But those definitely miss. If you ever use like Z-Hypnosis Circuitry. So in comes the Bomb Snow. I know I can probably get knocked out by Ice Shard, but I don't, which surprised me. I didn't, but I think I get knocked out by Hail, so at least a knockout Mega Bomb Snow with the hidden power. But Sceptile does go down to that Ice Shard and Hail. And then now I'm just going to bring in Savali Steel and kind of just like win the game over here because he doesn't really have much left to deal with Savali. He does have that Sceptile, which could Focus Blast and blow me back. But he misses, unfortunately. I go for the Flamethrower, but it doesn't knock out Sceptile. He can still hit a Focus Blast, but I think Savali still lives that. But 2 Focus Blasts definitely could knock out Savali, which would have been nice. But we'll see if he's Life Orb or Specs. It would be better if he is Life Orb, which he is. But at the same time, I think I still got it in the bag because probably Hitmontop can take a hit. But at the same time, you never know. You never know. Like maybe he could come back and just like knock out everything in one hit. That's potential. Because I don't really have priority anymore, I think. So yeah, GG to Angel. It could have been a win if he hit those 2 Focus Blasts maybe and knocked out everything else. I think he would have to go for a Leaf Storm though and lower his special attack. So I think I still probably won unless he crit everything. Because lowering your special attack means that I could probably live with my other Pokemon. Because I had 2 other Pokemon besides my Savali at the end. So yeah, last game we got versus LaFlare. And looking at it, he got a really good team. Got Golbat. I love using Golbats. I use it in RU2. And yeah, Golbat's just an amazing Pokemon. Comfy as well. Comfy is one of the best Pokemon. And Heliolisk as well. And Klotzer. So pretty nice Pokemon in his team. Probably Rock Steelix. And Hariyama could be like a Soul Vest or Flame Orb. Flame Orb is a lot more scarier because I don't have 2 good switch-ins to Hariyama. And Klotzer could be Specs or a Soul Vest as well. Specs is really scary. Golbat is just going to wall a lot of my team. I got to keep like Rotom for it. And Comfy is very terrifying. I got to keep Savali healthy for it, or maybe even my Miltank to Toxic it. And yeah, Heliolisk is also scary as well because I don't have a ground type. And even if I do have a ground type, Heliolisk can really just whittle those guys down with like Hyper Voice or Surf or Focus Blast. It could run a lot of things. Dark Pulse as well. So pretty bad matchup versus his team. But at the same time, I still have like, you know, breaking capabilities with Pangoro, because Pangoro doesn't really get walled. It just kind of gets a little like, you know, outsped and then just like revenge killed most of the time. So he leads off with E-Honda. The Hariyama has lit off a Miltank. Really bad lead versus me, for my part at least, because he can just literally click close combat, but he didn't. He just went for knockoff, which is smart to get rid of whatever I try to switch in, which was Hitmontop, and he got rid of the leftovers. So I just click close combat because I don't want to mess around with Hariyama. He could just click a you know, Facade or close combat if he wants to do that, but he actually brought in Steelix, which surprised me. I thought he'd go into Golbat, which would have been the easiest switch in ever, obviously, but I guess he expected that, and maybe he thought that I would predict Golbat to want to come in, which is a fair, you know, prediction, obviously, because, you know, it's just like an obvious switching, but at the same time, I just want to see if he would do that. And I feel like that'd be an obvious prediction at the same time. So at least I got that Steelix weakened, which is nice. But he also weakened my Hitmontop, and I have no form of recovery for my Hitmontop. So yeah, my switch-ins to Hariyama are gone. Unless I can somehow switch it in with Rotom, and he doesn't knock off. That's my best bet. I still have that Colbur Berry intact with Rotom. So he brings in Comfy and actually goes for a Calm Mind, which is, I think, a little premature to do that, since he doesn't know what my Savali is. And also I do have a Miltank as well. I think he would have been better just to like predict a switch or like attack right there. Either way would have been fine. So I just go for multi-attack and just to see if you want to stay with Comfy, but he goes into Steelix and then actually pulls a double into Klotzer, which is very nice, expecting me to go for the Flamethrower, maybe even scouting for the Flamethrower right there as well. So that kind of sucks. Klotzer is in. I go for a U-turn just to get, you know, some switch initiative and, well, not really switch initiative, but just to see if he'd switch as well and get some nice chip on there and see if he's faster too. That could have been nice. So I go to Rotom just an off chance he wants to go for Aura Sphere, and I can take a Dark Pulse with a Colbur Berry, but he goes for Muddy Water, which does some decent damage, which I didn't expect as well. I thought he would run like Water Pulse or something. And I try to Volt Switch, but he brings in Steelix, which is really bad because Steelix gets that just a little bit of leftovers recovery, able to live my Hex. I wish I was running some more special attack EVs on my Rotom. I'm running max HP, max speed. Able to just like, you know, effectively live more hits with Colbur Berry. So the Steelix is able to live the Hex and get the Stealth Rocks up, which is very, very bad because then that just whittles down my team. And every whittle matters a lot for Rotom and Hitmontop since I don't have recovery on them. Sometimes you see Rotom with Ayapapa Berry, so that would be nice if I did have that, but I got Colbur Berry, so. In comes Heliolisk. I know it can knock me out, so I'm going to go into Miltank as he Volt Switches, which is very nice chip on Miltank. I'm kind of like forced to Milk Drink unless I want to switch out, which it makes me forced to switch out with Hariyama coming in. So yeah, I'm looking pretty bad at this point of the game. Since, you know, Stealth Rocks are up on my side of the field, a lot of my Pokemon are weakened. And he hasn't really lost too much Pokemon, and he still has that dang Comfy and Golbat, which kind of like wall a lot of my team. So I decided to sack Hitmontop right here because I can at least intimidate the Hariyama, and maybe I can like live a hit with my other Pokemon. But still, Hariyama is just so dang strong with that Flame Orb Guts ability, even at -1 attack. Well, actually, he Power Up Punch, so he's at regular now, so it didn't even matter. If only he didn't Power Up Punch. And you never really run it to Power Up Punch Hariyama as well, but hey, good call on his part to run that, since it came in handy over here, because he's able to knock out my Sceptile, which I think at -1, maybe Sceptile could live. Unless he has, like, Bullet Punch in the back with his Hariyama, then maybe he puts it in range for Bullet Punch. But either way, I fight EMZ to Hariyama. It's able to live because Hariyama has insanely high HP, I'm pretty sure, and its defenses are pretty low. But really, really high HP, so that's why it's able to live that. And at least I can bring in my Savali and knock him out the multi-attack. At least they didn't bring in Klotzer right there, because he could have definitely preserved the Hariyama and brought in Klotzer. But I think Hariyama was pretty easy to sack right there, since I think most of my team outsped it, and I can knock him out. So I U-turn again on the Klotzer, go into my Miltank as it's, you know, especially defensive. I should be able to live anything unless he goes for Aura Sphere, which he does not. Luckily, he goes for Dark Pulse. Probably expecting me to go into my Rotom, potentially. And I just go for my Stealth Rocks just to, you know, chip away at his team a little bit more, because I know I can't Milk Drink on this Klotzer, and I know Seismic Toss is not going to do anything. So I might as well just get the Rocks up just to chip away at his team. And also, chipping away at Golbat as well is very, very crucial. So bringing Pangoro, as Pangoro luckily is able to outspeed Klotzer. Turns out to be a Soul Vest, which is kind of what I expected, since, you know, he probably wouldn't want to run Specs on a team like his. I don't know, I'm just guessing. I mean, it could either or, really, because he just has a lot of hard hitters like Heliolisk, Hariyama. Like, he has that breaking potential. He doesn't need another breaker unless he wants to. Like, you need to have some kind of, like, you know, defense. And Klotzer is like some nice Assault Vest right there. So Heliolisk comes back out. I decided to go into Savali because I don't want my Pangoro to get weakened and stuff like that. And I can't really bring in Miltank because then I'm just going to be forced to probably Milk Drink on one of his other switch-ins. So yeah, Savali is my best bet. As in comes Bruce Wayne. I tried to Flamethrower the Heliolisk, but unfortunately the Bruce Wayne came out. So I just U-turn and go into my Rotom. And Rotom's like my only way of beating this Golbat. So I gotta hope he stays in and I can Thunderbolt it, which he actually does stay in, which is awesome, but doesn't knock it out because Golbat is a Violite and it's just naturally bulky, and it's able to knock me out with the Brave Bird. So my last bet is to hope that a Bullet Punch can knock out the Golbat from the range attacks. Come on, Pangoro, Iron Fist. You have the Life Orb, Adamant's Nature. Can you knock out the Golbat for the range it's at? And you don't. So everything on LaFlare's team is just living on 1 HP or something like that. Steelix first, what the heck, and now Golbat. So that kind of sucks. And he can knock me out the Brave Bird. He does go down to recoil as well, but at this point of the game, Helios wins because Silvally is not able to recover its HP. And even though I can't take hits, if only Silvally could have recover or something like that. Like, maybe if I kept Miltank, I could win the game. Instead of Silvally Steel, I should have kept Miltank. Potentially. I don't know. Because Miltank at least has Milk Drink, and I could Toxic down his team, but it just comes down to if he had Focus Blast on his Helios or something like that. So I don't even multi-attack. I'll go for Flamethrower, just an off chance he wants to stay in with Helios. Maybe I can knock it out, and then maybe I can multi-attack the Comfy and one-shot it, but nope. He is naturally faster with the Comfy and goes for the Z move. Actually, maybe Draining Kiss priority Z move works like that. I don't know. Either way, I'm going to get blown back by the Z move, Twinkle Tackle, and that is pretty much GG versus LaFlare. So pretty well fought game right there. Came down to the wire. And yeah, I think I could have probably preserved Hitmon Top a little bit better instead of staying in on Steelix. Maybe I should have went into my Rotom, and maybe I should have predicted his Steelix to want to come in on my Rotom instead of trying to Volt Switch on, like, what was it, Klotzer? But I was also scared that Helios would come out because Helios could come in on Rotom pretty nicely as well, since it does resist Electric, and it is immune from a Ghost since Helios is a normal type as well. So yeah, like that's why I was saying it's a pretty hard matchup, like just looking at his team. Because he has a switch into my Sceptile, which is Golbat, Pangoro. Like, I don't have too many times to bring it in. Like, I have to try and bring in Pangoro as much as possible. That's like my really only way of breaking through, and Comfy can take a hit, Golbat can take a hit from Pangoro. Like, a lot of his Pokemon can take a hit and also revenge it as well with Draining Kiss and Brave Bird. So yeah, just not the best matchup, to be honest, but at the same time, still had like shots to wave win. So yeah, if you do want to Wi-Fi battle me, my Discord is in the description down below if you do want to battle other people as well. And yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. That's going to be it. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, do your thing. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, peace.